could we relate the ice storm we had in the region of Montreal in 98, the Jacques Cartier Bridge, and Peace for Children, to go walk around the world. We try to go back to that big tower that time we came in a sort of war zone. Even the army was there. Big towers, pylons, they went down, and the trees cracking under the heavy ice of that ice storm. About 4 million people were affected on different ways. And me suddenly I was affected by a midlife crisis that most of you don't know. I see some red hairs. I mean gray hair, sorry. So to raise my health, I began walking and running. And after a year, I remember I was running over that bridge, the second symbol, Jacques Cartier Bridge, and looking the city of Montreal. I think I had a good shot of adrenaline, maybe. Then I was thinking, in how many days I can join New York, and why not Mexico, and why not the rest of the world? So I returned home. I made a map on a different way on the world map, but there was something told me that a little angel or devil, I don't know, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. So I didn't tell my family for 8 months. Secret. So 3 weeks and a half before to go, I was really nervous. I didn't sleep well. That Sunday morning, finally, put the breakfast on the table. I said to Luce, my wife, listen, Luce, I'm going for a long walk and run around the world for more than a decade. She saw that I was not really comfortable, and she said, how will you do this? I said, I will push a buggy, I will ask hospitality on the way. And she said, will you return at home sometime? I said, no, after all, like a walk in the park. And then, but I said, you can come on my way. So she came every year. And then after she said, is it finished between us? You want to go away from me? I said, no, I love you. It's not for other purpose. I should go. I must go. I go anyway. Finally, she replied, maybe give us a try. Then do this for peace. So we dedicate the walk in the UNESCO decade, 2000-2010, for peace and nonviolence for children. That gave a soul on the walk. Thank you. So on August 18, 2000, my birthday, 45 years old, I started from Montreal. I gave the key to Luce, my wife, and she gave me the key to the key of freedom, no keys. And then I went down, you saw the map, and the project was crossing the 5 big continents. Then land in Europe after Africa, and then down to Turkey, Iran, then Asia, and then we are going to China, and then the islands from Japan, the Southeast Asia islands, to Borneo, where we saw that I saw some headhunters, the headhunters, you know? I have still mine. Then from New Zealand, and then back to Montreal. Soon, that's it. Thank you. When I started, then a day and a half to get the border of America, that I was thinking, many people, they said, people there, the border, but the guys, they don't like that sort of thing. They will maybe don't accept to America. Finally, yeah, I was thinking maybe my walk around the world will finish there. So I passed through. They were very happy to receive me, and all the way in America, people they gave me food, shelter, warm bed, and people on the way to give me a place to stay. And it was very, very beautiful. So finally, but it was not always like that. Huh? I remember I was in a town in middle of America, my way, maybe 3 months after I started. And I was looking the home. It was a cold evening in the night, and nearly 9, 10 o'clock, no place to stay. Then I said, you see these people, they were watching their TV in their living room. They are comfortable, these guys, these people. So why I'm doing such a apart life? I said, very easy. You just take a plane, you go to home, and then you go work like before. I said, no, I don't work. Finally, I had something to live and to learn. So I followed down to Central America, South America, and I saw rich people, poor people. Then I stayed in churches, police stations, fire stations, even in jails. And then I had a little tent, and I slept in forests and deserts. And then I saw the huge mountain, the Andes, beautiful and big challenge there. And then one time a guy came to walk with me, and then he said something that I will never forget. He said, I met people so poor that the only thing that they have is money, plenty money. So I had to learn about value of life, and this is what I learned a lot through Africa. In Africa, I stayed with local people, eating there, sharing the food, and then eat even insect. And then, so in Mozambique, I remember when you arrive in a small village, so in the evening, the children are around, so I ask them, please, can I meet the chief of the village to have food and maybe sleep? So finally, they bring you to the chief. They have usually three chiefs: spiritual chief, traditional chief, and politic chief. So they give you place. They welcome you. They take time for you. Then the lady of the chief, she bring you water, and she said, first you take a bath. So I went to take that bath. There is a little cup to take a bath. And further, the same scenario repeated after a few weeks. So meet the chief, and then finally she said, you take a bath first. And the lady, there were no cup finally, and I asked the lady behind the screen of straw outside. So I asked the lady, may I have a cup, please, to wash myself and to rinse myself? There was a basin there. Huh? So finally, the lady, she said, in Canada, you use a cup to wash yourself. So after have been very welcome in Africa, I went up to Europe. What a shock. There I could feel sometimes the rejection. And then because sometimes I had to be careful what happened on the way to have really to figure out what happened to have place to sleep. So finally, I was in Ireland one time. I met a guy. I said to the guy, how big is the next village? And the other one, please, just to see if I maybe be able to find something. He said, yeah, that's right there. I said, the next village, you have 2 pubs, and the other 4 pubs, little bigger. Okay. Because sometimes people, they are happy to promote the walk through the peace and nonviolence through my walk. So I arrived in Serbia, in Belgrade, and then they made a walk from the center city to a school, then with children. And then I spoke, and then we went behind the school to have, there were a small ceremony planting a tree, tree for peace. So we planted a tree, and after planting the tree, there were a small child there, and they said, why that tree of peace? I don't understand. The guy in charge, he said, because here in Serbia, peace is very fragile, And further, would like to have a solid piece like this tree will be in the future. So he asked the child, he said, will you protect that little tree? The child said, yes, I will protect that tree. If somebody wants to break it, I will punch him. In India, I walk with an amazing guy. He's a sadhu. He walked 30 years of his life naked, no clothes, bare feet. This amazing guy walked more than 200,000 kilometers. But what affected the most on my way was in Mindanao, where I had to walk with the police, the army, and the intelligence service to look over the mountain, the movement of the rebel in the mountain. So imagine the guys walking for peace surrounded by guard, full armed. And then it's sort of ironic image, is it? So I asked these guys, these police or army, may I meet the rebel groups? Finally, they were just separatist group, is it? They said, no, you will be kidnapped. I said, huh? You don't kidnap me now? Finally, I follow, and I arrive in Darwin, in Australia. Sorry. And then there I had to pass through my number 6 deserts, one of the biggest challenge. I passed some other, like the most arid of the world, the Atacama Desert, but this one, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 3 months, nothing, 10, 12 liters of water per day. And yeah, I made it with good attitude, that I'm very proud. So finally, after the Aussies and the Kiwis, I got the support for the fly for my 64 country, Canada, Vancouver. So from Vancouver all the way, this is what I wanted to hear, that, hey, you come a long way, eh? Very warm. All the way people gave me place to stay and then made a beautiful chain of hospitality. Arriving nearly home, I met my 2 granddaughters because I became grandfather. This is good news. The sad news, I lost my father that I saw just when I started. And then, yeah, after 11 years and 2 months, 54 pair of shoes. This is one of the last one. And then 75,500 kilometers. So, yeah, we had the welcome ceremony. Then Luce and I, we went to home, covered the last 1.5 kilometers to home without any witness, hand in the hand. Then she gave me back the key. No freedom anymore. Then opened the door, looking my new environment. And then we hugged each other, saying, mission accomplished. 3 days after, I was really, I can say, I was completely lost in my own home. Then I was still looking for the things in the cupboard. And I didn't know where things was. And 3 months after, still, Luce said, darling, you still didn't lock the door? Oh, sorry, honey. 11 years, I never locked doors. Thank you very much.